I'm the Rook, and you're watching Jazzy J 714 on YouTube.
As a struggling actor, I need all the breaks that I can get. At Liberty Mutual.
Cut.
Line.
Cut. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Cut. Liberty. Am I allowed to riff? What if I come out of the water? Liberty Bibbity.
Cut. We'll dub it.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hello and welcome back to another great episode of Jazzy Jeff's Trading Card Review Series. First and foremost, I just want to say I hope everybody enjoyed my new intro. Huge shout out and special thanks to John Spearley for that rockin' tune. I'm really excited to have a new, fresh intro. I think it's about time for, the changing of the guard. I think this is the perfect episode to lead into the October season. Today's cards, as you can see in the description, are Women in Terror, Horror Stories and Terror Tales Premium Collectible Trading Cards. And these are actually from the 90s by 21st Century Archives Gallery Collection is who put this together. This is out in Royal Oak, Minnesota. Yeah. And thing, there you go, 1993, Argosy Communications. So these are some really strange cards. These are probably some of the most unique cards that I've come across. Very like independent, I believe, or it's some like historical society. Apparently, you can sign up for like their. You can be a charter member, and you have to pay like $20 a year, at least back then. And like it even came with like these neat little, cards to fill out to be a part of it and get other, I guess, things. I don't know what else would be. Apparently, you just get more things that they have in their gallery. So maybe other memorabilia, could be more cards or maybe magazines and stuff. Anyhow, speaking of all that stuff. A lot of these cards, what's on the cards, date back to the 20s and 30s. The 30s more specifically into the 40s, back then when there was a lot more paper circulars going around. So, a lot of you have heard me talk about paper stuff before in other episodes, especially in the Atari, Amazing Atari aficionado episodes. It's so nice to be able to read stuff and see stuff. And they had, obviously, a lot more newspapers in syndication, a lot more magazines, a lot more, like, nickel and dime books. They had, like, pulp, magazines and things of that nature. And, they just had just different, there was just more forms and ways for information to get around on paper. And in a lot of those papers, you'd have maybe a superhero section, and then maybe you'd have like a romance section, and then maybe a sci-fi section, and then of course there would be some form of horror. And what's so unique is like this is the beginnings of horror. This is like great years, great grandfather years, so to speak, of when people didn't refer to it as horror, but it was starting to become horror. And, so you had, like, horror pulps, that were launching throughout the, 1930s and 1940s. And you would have different, magazines. So this one would be Startling Mystery. So that's one of them right there. And, you know, the artwork is just brilliant, and it's absolutely amazing. And, of course, the focus is on women, and a lot of the women were drawn very realistically, and a lot of care and compassion was gone into them, you know, looking very nice and dressing very nice, kind of like the old pinup days. So here we have Dime Mystery Magazine. So here's some more horror pulps. And, like, on the back of the card is just so much information, you know, it would almost be worth it to talk about this card in one episode, because there's just so much information on these about the different stories that you might have come across. Maybe they might focus on an illustrator or a particular artist. It just, you know, the cards are just so beautiful looking. They're so fantastic. Real quick, special shout out to Sweet Girl Designs. This was, I believe I got this from you back during your Etsy days. But she actually has a store now, so as always, that information will be in the description below. But yes, I did get these off of Anne and Greg from the Retro Emporium. So, very exciting. And they have the years on here, you know, when these issues came out, you know, 1937, 1933. So it's interesting to see, you know, the evolution of the artwork and how the cards have changed. So here we have some Terror Tales. So this was yet another, you know, magazine, you know, pulp that would have been available at newsstands and other, you know, various nickel and dime stores and your, you know, your little marts, your corner marts and your delis and stuff. And, yeah, it's just, you know, it's all about the macabre. And, like, apparently, from doing a little bit of research for once, these were very sensual. They were very sexual in nature. They were definitely aimed at adults. This definitely wasn't really meant for the kids. But, you know, kids, I'm sure, obviously read it. And a lot of the topics were very adult, kind of like the Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, how they kind of, over the years, matured the episodes and aimed them more at, you know, growing up and aging and getting older. And it's just more mature subject matter. And so, yes, like, you know, there was no surprise to see nudity and things like that in these magazines and in a lot of these pulps. You know, and it's just, it kind of set the standard for, you know, these pretty women just being attacked by monsters. You know, you look back at the old Universal monsters and a lot of the other box artwork for old, you know, horror movies. They all kind of look like these pulp magazines. And this is where, you know, a lot of these images and probably a lot of today's artists and stuff got inspiration from photos like this. And like this, once again, this episode is just not doing these cards justice. These are cards that, you know, you need to pick up and see these in person. I mean, these are probably some of the best cards. They're just the most unique cards in my set, and I would love to definitely get more, for sure. They're phenomenal. If anybody is, you know, a fan of horror, sci-fi, fantasy, you know, anything, even film noir, you know, and detective stories, this is where it's at. I mean, these pulps had a little bit of everything, and it's so great that this agency from the 90s did their work and did their homework and basically did some preservation. And there's now ways to look up this, you know, I can probably go online and find out more information and look up all these people and look up these particular issues. So these are excellent, and if I had a way to display them all on a poster, I would love to, because this would be kind of a neat, like, horror, like Halloween horror decoration, just to have all these. So that could be maybe a project that I'll work on and try and get all these in a frame somehow without ruining them. But anyhow, I just thought I would do something a little different today and finally get around to doing the women in tarot cards. And I still might do something with these cards. I still might maybe do a couple videos where I read the back of them and give you guys a little bit more information about them if you want. So please, this is one of those times that I need everybody to leave comments, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube or Twitter or wherever, you know, you see this posted, you know, Instagram. Let me know if you want me to talk more about these cards and do more episodes on any particular cards. or anything like that, or if you want me to do maybe like a Facebook post, and maybe all throughout October I'll do a different woman in horror. 2019 will be the Halloween season or something for females in horror, so that might be kind of cool. But anyhow, overall, just, you know, let me know what you thought of the cards. I know Colin Richards will probably have something to say. So thanks everybody for watching, and for the bonus segment, I figured it would pair perfectly with the cards. I have some pin-up pins, like the women, you know, back from the 30s and 40s, and they're on these neat pins that I got from Sweet Girl Designs. So you'll see that footage here to end out the episode. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Watch out, Terminator 2 Judgment Day at a theater near you. And now, only at Subway, the Thirst Terminator Collector Cup. Filled with 32 ounces of your favorite soft drink. Get it with your favorite Subway sub. Oven fresh bread piled high with the freshest ingredients from just $1.69. Terminate your hunger. Terminate your thirst. With this summer's blockbuster hits, only at Subway.